welcome back to day number 11. We are going to be working on lower body flexibility and mobility today, primarily hips and quads and hamstrings. We're not going to pay as much attention to ankles because last time we were together 2 days ago on day number 9, we did a lot of ankles while we were doing upper body. So today we're going to focus more on the hip and leg area. If this is your first time here, my name is Sarah. This is Mobility Duo. We are a one-stop shop for snowboarders, and right now we are working on our 2-week program between Strength by Dr. Mark and then Mobility from me. Our credentials are in the description below, and let's get going. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start standing in the back of the mat, and I know you probably can't see me up there, but we're gonna be fine. Just standing in the back of the mat, feet together, and then we're gonna hinge at the hips, slight bend in your knees, and lead with your chest forward. So bend your knees actually as much as you need to get your chest on your thighs. And then just rest your upper body, rest your neck. You can allow your arms to hang down. You can grab each elbow. And breathe here for a second. Good. And then slowly bending your knees as much as you need to get your hands onto the ground. And then walk your hands out into a high plank position. Bring your feet about hip width apart, and shoulders should be hip width apart as well. And then we're going to just bend our knees as we send our hips up towards the ceiling, ears between our shoulders, into our downward dog. And inhale forward into our plank. And we're just gonna do 5 more of those. So exhale, downward dog. You can press one heel down to the ground and the other. Good, and then inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. 2 more. Good, on your next inhale, shift forward into a plank. And then exhale, downward dog. Good, 1 more. Shift forward, core tight into a plank. Yes, and exhale, downward dog. Now we're going to bring the right leg up into a 3-legged dog. So make sure you don't open up your hips, but just allow your hips to be square with the mat. And then we're gonna come up to our tippy toes with the right leg. As we keep our core tight, bend that right knee, left leg's on tippy toes, right knee, core as you place that foot in between your hands. Breathe, allowing this hip to open up a little bit here. Good, you can kind of rock back and forth. Beautiful. Love me some lower body days with yoga. Good. And now we're going to press the ground away and just send that foot back into our downward dog. And again, you can press one heel down to the ground and the other. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So left leg comes up into a 3-legged dog. And then right leg, tippy toes, core tight as you bring your knee to your nose, place that left foot in between your hands. And again, you can just shift back and forth and breathe. While you're breathing, just letting that right hip open up. Good. Beautiful. And let's go ahead. We're going to press the ground away as we take that left foot back into that downward dog again. And let's go through a vinyasa of your choice. So remember, we learned vinyasas a while back, so shift forward, high plank, core tight. Hug your elbows in as you slowly lower chaturanga, tops of the feet on the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Right leg comes forward again. So tippy toes, bring the right leg up into a 3-legged dog. Bend that right knee as you send that right foot in between your hands and breathe. From here, we're going to drop the back knee down to the ground and then bring our hands up so our chest is up a little bit. Warming up a little bit. It's still freezing in here, you guys. And then we're just going to flex our hamstring to bring that back foot up. And we're gonna reach back with the left hand, thumb up. So we're grabbing the inside of the foot and we're pulling that foot in. So maybe it's just right here. If you can go a little bit more, maybe bring it in all the way. Squaring off your shoulders. You can even add in the other hand if you'd like to pull it in even more. Really getting a good quad stretch. If you need to, if this hurts your knee at all, you can always put a padding down on the ground. Breathe. Over time, it won't hurt your knee. Good. Keep breathing. Beautiful. And then slowly release that leg with control as we bring our hands back down to the ground. Bring up that back leg. And then watch this heel here. So we're going to put our weight into our heel, toe comes up, as we pivot into a side lunge, a skandasana. And just press into that right knee, opening up that hip a little bit. Beautiful. And then we're going to just shift over to the other side, low and slow. Same thing, skandasana on the left side. I'm going to move so you can see me better. Breathe here. And then again, come up onto that heel, toe comes up as we rotate into a lunge over that left leg down. So high lunge over that left leg. Breathe for a second as you let that right hip open up a little bit. Beautiful. And go ahead, drop the back knee down to the ground, coming back up, bringing your hands onto your knee. Good. And then bringing the back leg up, grabbing it with the right hand. And either staying here or pulling a little bit more, maybe noticing how your sides might be different. You can always take the front hand back and breathe. Woo. This side for me is way tighter. Just keep breathing. Good. And slowly release that leg back down to the ground. Hands on the ground, coming back up into that high lunge. And then we're going to step this leg back. So we're going to do a downward dog facing the back side of the mat. So back into our downward dog, just pressing one heel down to the ground and the other. And then we're going to take a vinyasa of your choice. So remember with the vinyasas, you can either go down to your knees. You can stay in that high plank, whichever you choose. So shift your weight forward, core nice and tight. Exhale, chaturanga, pause. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Now we're going to bring that right leg up to the ceiling into that three-legged dog. Come to your tippy toes of that right foot. Core tight as you bring your knee to your nose, taking that foot in between the hands into that lunge. And remember, that move right there takes a lot of practice, so just keep doing it. Keep practicing. Good. Now we're going to drop that back knee and walk our hands back, straightening out that front leg. We can either have our hands touching the mat, or we can always bring it to our thigh here as we lead with our chest to our toes, really stretching out the hamstrings. Good. And then bend into that knee. And we'll go one more time. And back. And fold. Good. And forward into that lunge. And then bringing up that back leg. And again, watch this heel. Pressing into the heel, toe comes up as we pivot into a skandasana on our left side. So pressing that left knee away. Breathe. And low and slow transition into a skandasana on the other side. Good. Ooh, hip hop. And then press into that heel, toe comes up as we turn into a lunge over that right foot. Just move in so you can see me better. And then just like we did on the other side, drop the back knee down to the ground, walk your hands back, straighten out that front leg, and fold. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Leaning with your chest to your toes. Good, and slowly walk your hands forward. You can bring your hips up and press into that, opening up that hip. And last time, straighten out that front leg, fold. Little balance. Beautiful, and walking your hands forward, tucking that back toes, other than coming into that plank, or excuse me, that lunge. And then pressing the ground away into our downward dog. Beautiful. And then make your feet as wide as the mat here in our downward dog. Good, and then we're just gonna bend our knees as we slowly walk our hands to our feet in a forward fold. So it's kind of like a wide-legged forward fold. And we practiced this one last time. You can bring your heels in a little bit more, toes out, as we just sit our hips down to the ground, bringing our chest up. Yogi squats, so important for snowboarding. Really good move for ankles, knees, and hips. Good, and then we're gonna exhale as we fold forward, bringing our hips up. You can rock side to side here if you'd like. And just breathe. Good. And when you're ready, hands down to the ground, bringing your heels in, toes out, as we bring our hips back down to the ground, chest up. Yogi squat again. Good, breathe. Yes. And last time, coming up, bringing your hips up, hands down, forward fold, and then walking your hands back out into our downward dog, bringing our feet back together in that normal hip width apart. Just breathe here for a second as you press one heel down to the ground and the other. Good. And slowly walk your hands, or your feet to your hands, going into a forward fold like we started with. So feet together, forward fold. You can grab each elbow here. And breathe. Beautiful. And slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Head up last, slowly with bent knees. At the top, inhale your arms all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. And that's it for today. All right, that was it for day number 11, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you do have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to let us know. I don't think there's any direct messages on YouTube. I'm still figuring out YouTube, you guys. It is not my platform. But I don't think there are direct messages. So comment below if you have any questions, concerns, or comments. And we will see you tomorrow for an upper body strength day. I had to remember for a second. Okay, bye guys.